with a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap, but it's nice.
I'm Sandra. I'm a facilitator at Police Abafazi, working day-to-day with kids. And we try and develop kids and trying to let them understand what life is all about.
I'm Lucinda and I'm the director of Police Abafazi Betu. Our project works in the arena of gender-based violence, domestic violence, sexual violence, and we work with women, children and older persons.
I'm Clive Jacobs, community, gay activist and human rights facilitator.
I'm Aisha. I belong to the organization Chairperson of Women of For the Nation. We're on the side of St. Montague Village, which also falls under Lavender Hill, and we deal with the crime, the school dropouts, and especially the informal settlement.
The issue around violence it's deep-rooted and it's very complicated in terms of what's going on in our community. If we look at particularly our youth, there's no opportunities for our young men and women. We look at the breakdown in the education system where schools are suspending children right into the hands of the gangsters. There are no schools that are offering skills development. We look at men and the issues that men have in terms of violence. When they were children, they were maybe also abused. So there are no facilities also for men to go for counseling, to go for support groups. And then we look at women in terms of where women are in the greater Lavender Hill area. And they are actually the victims of violence and also the children, but more so the older persons as well.
Violence has overtaken our lives and we have to do the cleanup. But the cleanup it will be here today and it will come back tomorrow and we will still sit with the problem. But what we should do is, as community leaders, first of all, we must unite and take this thing together and make the difference, because we are the ones. We don't need the MECs of police and the Minister of Police. I don't need Natyam Teto to come into my community to make a difference. I believe that we have the core function to the day by day. And if everybody understand each other, like the Lucindas and the Aishas and that people, if they are together, they are forced to be reckoned with. And I think we have gained respect over the years. But I have a great problem with violence because it can interrupt any time within such a community as Lavender Hill.
I just feel the justice system really failed us. If you see where you get people that was involved with the violence, with the shooting, they go to court and it's nothing for them to come out tomorrow on bail. And so for me it is that the justice system also don't think then nothing about our people's lives out there. Because they can just be shot and tomorrow they come out. So that tells us what's the use there is a justice system. That is the people that is supposed to represent us, to keep our people safe. But the criminals just go in and they back out tomorrow on the streets again. And it just go on and on. It's like a cycle that's just happening over and over. And I think if the justice system is going to become more strict and take it more serious, things would become much better. But I don't think they think anything about the lives of the community out here in the community.
I think one of the difficulties in terms of the violence that's escalating, and rightfully, as you say, Aisha, the justice system is completely failing us. Because as the kingpin drug men, they are able to afford 20,000 Rand lawyers. They can pay the bail. But that doesn't stop them from doing what they do. Because they go out and it is as business as per norm. It's business as usual. Maybe pick up the 10 deer and pitch it 500 meters further down, but it's business as usual.
One of our members, our vice chairperson that's on the women's organization and that was on the neighborhood watch, she was brutally killed on the informal settlement in a place where they just came in the house, kicked the doors open, and she was still busy making food and they shot her in the house. And I mean, if you even see them appearing in court, there's no remorse. They don't even show any remorse.
I also have clear evidence that some of the policemen are in cahoots with these people. It was proven, and then on that, my house was raided by the police because of things that I said and they just thought they were going to come and pull a dirty on me because they didn't find anything in my house. It was shocking for the whole Western Cape to know what happened clearly. They came to the person who really stood up, who supported the police in all fears of. They came to my house, and for 3 minutes, and they said they were at the tip of their ears, drugs in my brother's house, in my brother's room. And I was livid. I had to go for trauma counseling. I was upset, and I've got no respect for the police anymore.
As we see that the police is more connected to the drug dealers and even with the gangs out there, so you think really twice to say anything. And even with the community guys out there that in gambling, they would pass with a van and they don't even stop and query the situation. There's incidents where everybody knows that Shabins is not legal on informal settlements. It's been opened and police knows about it and they do nothing about it. So that's why the community don't want to open up.
I had the incident already where I gave information to a detective that a special guy that was on the gang unit, when not even a half an hour, this gang guy, his uncle were there at my place, where they threatened me. And that is why I say that I won't give information easily to the police, because on the end of the day, they want the community people, the community organizations to work together, but our lives is in danger on the end of the day because they speak to you. But then the gangster still knows who spoke to who and what was said.
I have my perception and overview of the police, but I would not degrade them at all because some of them are good in their jobs and the relationship that I have with the police. But our fear is we have had now for 2 months, 3 months, we had now peace of mind. Peace of mind. But what is going to happen going into the festive season? Because for the festive seasons for the last so many years, we had nothing but violence over there. And that is when the question comes around, when the community asks Clive, Mr. Jacobs, what are we looking at for December? Is it good for us to go away? Can we stay at home? Are we going to have peace? When is this going to get escalate again? Those are the questions that's coming up now. The boys on the corners, where else must we stand? If I tell them go inside, but this is our area, it's our community. They don't want to hear that because there's no peace.
We've gone through a bloodiest gang violence in years, and boom, in July, there's been a tent meeting and peace agreements and talks, and now things are fine. But have you guys seen how many new drug houses has sprung up? How many more drug houses, especially in the informal settlements, is business as usual? And yes, we know that the solution to the gang violence is not a one entity, the South African Police Services. But then we find the Department of Safety and Security, which have intergovernmental stakeholders meeting with government departments, excludes the NGOs and CBOs who works on the front line, doing the work, and they come back with possible solutions, which is a top-down instead from a bottom-up. I mean, we've gone through the Department of Safety and Security measures in how we can have a better Lavender Hill for the last 5 years. For the last 5 years, we had the same strategies, the same programs, the same youth, and at the end of the day, we're back to square one.
And I can tell you, the gang leaders, they sell the brand very good. They sell it very good, especially where the youth is concerned, because that is what we experience, especially with the poverty also in our community. If I, like a mother, can't buy my son a Levi or a pair of Nikes or whatever name brands, they can do it. And that is how they're attracting the children to be involved with the gangs. I mean, we had youth where they were even forcefully made gangsters. And I mean, it's not right then, because that is how they, I can tell you, I think they are much even better than big business people, because they know how to operate in the community. And why they are so secure in the community, because they've got the support from some of the police guys.
What concerns me is the Department of Education. What happens to our children that cannot academically excel when they reach the plateau of learning? What happens to children that has failed 3, 4, 5 times in a particular grade or grades? Where are the next step? And these are the type of examples of children that actually lands in the hands of the waiting wolves, the gangsters, to recruit them. There are many, and I mean, as you can attest to, many of the dropouts, young women and men, 12, 13 years old, that's supposed to be in school, that is not in school. But we do not see the Department of Education is actually partnering with us, organizations, grandmothers, mothers, in saying, you know what, there's an alternative. What is the alternative? I want to know from the Department of Education, what are they really doing in terms of upskilling our children?
You know, youth had a dream. Today you can ask them what is their dream. They can't even tell you what their dream is anymore. And it's really hard so to think that this is youth that could tell you one day I want to become a lawyer, I want to become a doctor or a policeman. Today the youth tell you I can become a policeman because I know what I can get right on the end of the day. I know how the gangsters is operating. They are connected, so I know I'm going to become a policeman. I'm not just going to work on my salary because I know I'm going to get back to I can get whatever I want to get. And I mean, that is not what we want as role models in our community.
It happened recently now at a prominent school, Steenbeck High, and I'm not shy to say it. A girl was attacked by the teacher, and in return she attacked the teacher. The teacher's still in the post, but the child was expelled for life. She can't even go back to school. So how are we failing? We fail our youth all the time. That's why with the area where I live, there's 14, 13, 15, 16-year-olds. They're on the corner every day. If I have a cool drinks money, I'll buy them a jive every time. If I have a 20, I'll buy them polony. But that is, our children doesn't need that. If you go to any other communities, you compare it with Lavender Hill, we will come last.
What makes it more complicated is that we have imperfect systems that is not actually working with community organizations hand in glove. For example, the Department of Social Development has not a very good track record of follow-up systems, especially when we refer cases of children and youth and women to them. And that is a breakdown. We have no programs in place where children are suspended and parents have to look for a program. Where do you find a program? What programs is available for parents to go to help their children? We have the gangsters that takes all of these mingle moose of everything, and they monopolize the situation where they ride on the back of vulnerable. They are having a lucrative business with drugs, and because it is so popular in the community, they start fighting about territory, about people, and that affects all of us.
I believe that we do much more than the police. We do much more than President Zuma. We do much more than Natum Pt.1, because we're hands on deck. We are here within the problems, and that is what makes me angry. But it doesn't deter my job and what I stand for.
My dream is to change all negative minds of youth into positive.
What I dream for is calmness throughout the years that was given to us.
If we could achieve 5 out of these hundreds of youth to become a role model in the community, or become a minister, or know what they want to achieve, I think I would have reached my dream.
To have a very big youth center where youth can go when they are in trouble to seek help, but also a family center for men and women where they are able to get the necessary services that is needed.
You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.